Well, I did meet Mr. Kakoza this morning with some of my staff, and not only Kakoza, but there are another group, including some association of Sinotrack operators, and they expressed, nearly all of them were giving me the same information about the extortion. What came into the fore is that there seems to be a racket under the pretext of being enforcement officers, some of which may be true, of the web bridges, but that they use in addition to those who are at the web bridge sites, they have the ones they call informers who are on the routes. They even have vehicles, what they call these days drones, and these other small vehicles. So, according to the information which they gave me, that you cannot survive giving money to either at the toll at the web bridge station or any of these people. If you miss the web bridge, these people will get you and you'll have to pay the money. And of course, all of them said that this money is not licited. It's not, they don't give them receipts. Except when you are very firm at the web bridge, they can give you a receipt and you go and pay them. So it has been a racket. Unfortunately, they've been using, many of them have been using what I would call quote-unquote big names. Mine is one of them. I've been telling them this money belongs to General Katumba. If you want, you call him. So in a way, they intimidate these drivers and operators. And I think it has been a painful experience. It was as well that he came out to rant about the practice and has thus opened up some of what we didn't know. For example, they even told us that, and I don't know under which law this is, that they can only operate at night. Sinotracks can only move at night. You can't move during day. Now, I don't know even where that law came from. It's not a law, but that has been the practice. And that, for example, if you have a breakdown on the road, that's also a charge. It's another charge if your vehicle breaks on the roadside. Before you work on repairing your vehicle, you have to pay for the vehicle being on the roadside. So a lot of things. But as I said, we have talked, and the only thing is that they were not willing, very willing, or possibly they will open up later. They were not very willing to give me the telephone numbers on which they send the money, because they don't pay cash. Everything is transacted on mobile money. But they have now promised me that they are going to, after I've given them this confidence, this week they will be able to share with me some of the experiences they will go through with the data of where they sent the money. Well, I think one of the things we have done is to have an open door policy, that you can come in and lodge your complaint, and you are free to do so. Because some of this has been happening, because like what Mr. Kakoza was telling me, that he has been trying to find me, but he had not succeeded. So the open door policy will encourage those who can report to report. Secondly, I think we also there is a need for all of us, not just the ministry. Because when you become a willing giver of a bribe, then the other man will become a willing receiver. So don't be a willing giver. If you know your truck is in good condition, you have everything which I've talked about, the truck is licensed, you have a third-party insurance, your driver is, then why do you pay bribe? Because then you encourage him. If you pay today, he'll make sure he makes it difficult for you to pass tomorrow, and you keep paying and paying. So I think it calls on all of us as Ugandans maybe to reach a point of saying no to those to those kind of activities. But also, be aware that there are so many quote unquote smart guys out there who are also taking advantage of some of these gaps to become a menace. I've tasked my officer who's in charge of enforcement, first of all, to go out and do two things. One, I want him to weigh the Sinotrack empty, weigh the Sinotrack when it is loaded with sand, but up to the level of the bed, and also weigh a Sinotrack which has overloaded. And then, because they were also arguing that the weight of the Sinotrack itself is is prohibitive. So when you add sand, definitely it has to be above weight. But then let's see which one can be acceptable, because we had more or less come to some understanding before, not documented, that let them carry sand just up to the level of the bed, and they should not carry sand with water, because that affects the road, and they should have a tarpaulin or a cover as they move to avoid that sand, becoming a menace to other road users. But then that somebody now brought up another thing, that they cannot move during day. So if you can't move during day, that means in a day you do 1 or 2 trips, and yet you may find the guy has a loan in the bank for this truck and has to pay, just like what Kakoza was crying about the other on the clip.
How are you going to make that?
One of the things we are doing, and which is already in the offing, we are changing the way bridges. We are going to install what we call weigh in motion. So the vehicle will come and it will be weighed in motion without, that will reduce human-to-human contact between the drivers or the operators of the trucks and the weigh bridge system. So once your vehicle is weighed and a red flag is indicated on your vehicle, that's when you have to branch off the road and pay the fine for carrying overweight. You have to pay the road license, that's a given. You must have a third-party insurance, that's a given. The driver must have a driver's license, that's a given. Your tires must be good enough, and the vehicle must be in serviceable condition. But we have a law, which is more or less the East African law or the Northern Corridor law, which prohibits overloading. That one is not only a preserve of Uganda, but it works in Kenya, it works in Tanzania, works in Uganda too. It's within that ambit. The reason for it was to protect our roads against the overloaded trucks. Yeah. So there's a big fine for every extra ton of weight which you carry. We are doing the roads to encourage people to trade, to do business. So there should be no reason why it should be hard for people to use the roads to do their business. Okay? So those areas which were making it difficult for business people to do their business, we need to address them, and all of us should play our part in ensuring that we create sanity in our country.